Hi, everyone, and welcome to the very first edition of Austin's Faces and Places for Cancer. And this was an idea that I had a little while ago to bring the oncology community together with all of the healers and therapists and the community in Austin that exists to serve people that are struggling with cancer. And my intent was to add a video component so that people could actually see who it is that's talking and learn a little bit more about the face and the person behind the name and the information. So today I'm super excited. Autumn Schulze is joining us, and Autumn is the CEO of her company, which is Autumn's Harvest. And she's going to take us on a little tour later and tell us all about the wonderful things that she does. So without further ado, Autumn, welcome. Thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
It is very exciting, and I'm thrilled to share all the information about what you do and what you've done with the community. It's just really fascinating. So I guess I'll start by just asking you to tell us a little bit about your company and what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. So as Samantha said, I'm CEO of Autumn's Harvest, and through there, I really help people harvest their best health and wellness. And we focus on herbs, health, and healing. I'm an expert within gut health and repair and how it involves the immune system, sleep, anxiety, and stress, and how you can actually use nutrition and herbs to be able to support your healing journey. My business is about serving others, sharing the healing power of plant medicines, and helping others gain time with their loved ones. So I do this as an educator, as a coach, and as a health consultant. I utilize herbal remedies, strategic food as medicine, and lifestyle improvements to support my clients. They're small changes that habit stack to success. And when I say herbal remedies, I mean therapeutic teas, alcohol or vinegar extracts, and even infused oils for the skin. And when I mention food as medicine, I mean in the sense of something that you can eat or apply that is either nutritious and supports your healing and cleansing of the body, or it can be something that adds to the toxic burden of your body. So really considering that and utilizing a whole foods, plant-based approach to healing.
And Autumn, I think that you had mentioned to me at one point that you had a personal connection to the oncology community, and that was a lot of the impetus that brought you to where you are now. So can you talk a little bit about what sent you on this journey initially?
Absolutely. So I always enjoyed understanding how the body worked. And I initially got my bachelor's in biomedical science from Texas A&M University. And then I spent 13 years within the human drug trial pharmaceutical research realm, really running those clinical trials at the doctor's sites, all the way through auditing and preparing those for FDA inspection. So I've really seen kind of the end-to-end on the pharmaceutical side. And like I had said, I'd been in there about 13 years when my father's cancer returned. He initially had colorectal cancer, had surgery, chemo, and radiation, and then after a couple years, it returned. And so during that time, the divine actually intervened, and as part of a workforce reduction, I had automated myself out of a job because I had been doing data quality for the company. But that had been the biggest blessing in my life because it gave me an opportunity to be by my father's side and do research and become an herbal medicine practitioner and get certified as a health coach and certified in juicing transformations. Because during my father's cancer battle, I saw a need to have something that would be able to support him through the damage that chemotherapy can do to the healthy cells. Mm-hmm. And then radiation burden that his body had. And I really was able to see food as medicine firsthand with him, especially with juicing, and him calling me and saying, I'm laying in bed, I can't get out of bed, can you come make me some juice? And within half an hour of imbibing that carrot juice, he was sitting up, laughing, and full of energy. So I know that live foods equal life, and I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it. So yeah. Definitely. That's kind of how my journey went from pharmaceuticals, now 180, to using plants as medicine as a first resort.
It's such a powerful story when you have that personal connection to it, like you obviously do. And so is there something in particular that you find that you can do for the cancer community specifically, as far as you do a lot of things in your business? What are the things that you think that kind of feed into the cancer community directly? What do you think those things would be?
Absolutely. So I offer health discovery sessions, which are usually 20 to 30 minutes. And we actually dive into what are you experiencing at this time? What are the major symptoms that you're having? And how could we work together for me to be able to support you within that? I also have different consultation packages. Usually the smallest package entails a full health intake. So just like a general practitioner, we will go through the medical history, concomitant medications that you're on, and really look at you as a whole person. That usually takes about an hour and a half to 2.5 hours, because I really want to get to know the person as a whole, all the symptoms that they're seeing and what's going on with them, and really hear the stress part of it, the mind part of it, because all of that is part of your healing process. So I really support as a health mentor with the different aspects of the lifestyle on top of just foods as medicine. But I support learning and empowerment and how everyday nutrition can be the foundation of healing. So I do have some online courses, and I'm working to build that platform as we are moving into more of a virtual realm right now. And then I see myself with my health coach background, really taking the information that a doctor gives somebody within that kind of 15-minute visit of, you need to lower your cholesterol, you need to eat better, you need to think about doing something for your allergies. Well, I take that information and then can be able to utilize that into customizing a herbal tea for someone to be able to treat multiple symptoms of dis-ease within the body that they're having, and not disease as you would normally think, but dis-ease of the body, because there are so many of these layers that go on within a person. And so really trying to combine something that is specific for them, specific for what they need, that actually has positive side effects for the body, as opposed to burdening the body.
Yes. And would you say that would it be easy, I guess, for you to pick favorite products or services that you've provided to the oncology community in the past?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, my favorite is to be able to combine a custom herbal tea for folks. So that's really something that I love to start out with. It is a ritual, part of that self-love that cancer patients need to build a stronger foundation of. So being able to make that cup of tea in the morning, make that cup of tea in the evening, to be able to support yourself and really be able to put the energy into that healing ritual. Because I really see a gap in being able to feel, when you're diagnosed with cancer, being able to feel like you have power and that you are empowered to be able to make the decisions for yourself. And so that's really where I see kind of me stepping in and showing folks also the beautifulness of juicing vegetables. I'm move that presentation that I usually do in person online, and hopefully by the time this is posted, it will be available via my website as well, because juicing is such an important part for cancer patients, because it is such a micronutrient punch to the liver. When you really think about human beings, we are human juicers. We separate these soluble and insoluble fibers through our digestion. And juicing gives you less work that the body has to do, but more nutrient punch. And when you are in a disease state such as cancer, you really need to try and concentrate the nutrition that you're putting into your body as much as possible, but also make it yummy so that compliance is there as well. And then the other thing that I have, aside from my consultations, is a VIP coaching program. And usually during our health discovery sessions, or even during a consultation, somebody will upgrade to the full VIP gut health coaching program, because that's where I work one-on-one with somebody, talking every week, educating them about the gut, about the microbiome, and how the gut is the second brain and really affects our 90% of our serotonin creation. It affects obviously your digestion, but sleep, your immune system. 80 to 90% of your immune system's integrity comes from the quality of those bacteria and of your gut. So that's really where I see an educational piece in that first part of it. And then I teach people to do meal preparations and trying to stay away from animal products, especially during their healing process, because it just helps the body get there faster. And then the last part of that program really gets into the mental aspect, to the stress, journaling, meditation, vision boards, and how to clear out physical toxins and mental toxins from your life. So kind of the whole perspective there with that coaching offering.
So I have a quick question for you on that note. I know myself, being in oncology skincare, one of the challenges that I often face with my clients is trying to navigate the waters between their medical and oncology teams and what they're being told, and their desire to want to come in and have a skincare treatment. Do you find that there's, is there sort of a chasm between you and the medical world as far as the benefit of your services and products? And if so, how do you navigate through that with people?
Yes, absolutely. And that is a fantastic question. So I personally am a huge advocate of medical informed consent. So whether you're going to be going to a doctor and getting a treatment from them, or you're going to be getting some kind of herbal tea or remedy from me, I want the client to understand why they are taking that, what it is, and what positive and possible detrimental or contraindications there may be for having that certain herb. So there are certain ones that I would consider, like the uterine stimulants. I use those very rarely and with caution, but for the most part, the other herbs that I use are very safe, and a lot of them are seen on store shelves. I do provide my clients with information on all of the herbs that they're going to be taking, a background of why they're going to be taking this one in particular and what it does for the body. And I also provide the official name for the herb so that they can do their own research. I can provide links as well to research from PubMed.gov and different reputable sources of, because there's different sources when you deal with research, right? Who funded the research, and who's kind of involved in that. So I really like to provide that separate information. But there's that aspect of the fact that even when you're dealing with a prescribed medication, doctors cannot predict what is going to happen in somebody's body when they have 5 or more medications. And there's also the connotation that comes up kind of within the doctor's mind of, well, I haven't seen clinical trials on this. There's a couple of reasons to keep in your mind as to why that hasn't happened. Number one, you can't patent a plant unless you take it into the lab and change it up a little bit. And pharmaceutical companies are definitely working on that and doing that. But I believe that the divine gave us these plants. We evolved with these plants. We watched the animals eat them and not die. We had this relationship with the earth. So I think keeping that relationship, keeping that full medical informed consent open, and ensuring that people understand what they're allowing to be done to their body, I think is very important. I do work with other medical practitioners in order to let them know what we are utilizing and why we are utilizing these certain herbs. I find that I leave it up to the patient, because ultimately, or the client, it is ultimately their decision as to what they want to take and what they want to include in their health regimen. My father's oncology, his chemo doctor said nutrition had nothing to do with it. And I know that that is absolutely not true. For example, cancer is an obligate glucose metabolizer. So it has to have sugar in order to live and thrive. And that's why they actually give the radioactive dye when they do a contrast CT or MRI, for example, because they're giving radioactive sugar, and that cancer is just eating that right up and lighting up that cancer. So food is the foundation of really people needing to be able to heal. And that's where because some of the herbs that I work with, are culinary herbs, rosemary and sage and thyme. They have a lot of wonderful benefits. Lavender, a lot of these things that people have heard of. Calendula for the skin, as you know, as we've talked about, is radio through the skin and can be applied externally and even drank as a tea. So long story long, I believe that there should be an open communication with the doctor. Some doctors are open to it, some are not. And it's up to the patient's or the client's discretion whether they feel comfortable taking these herbs in conjunction with other, because there's a lot of different avenues. I help people that choose to go through the traditional route of chemosurgery and radiation. And I also support people who choose to go through natural realms of healing. So either way, nutrition has to be the support there. And that's really kind of where I come into play. I know that was a long answer. Did I even answer the question?
Good. And you offered a lot more information, which is very helpful, because I think, that's one of the things that I find is the most challenging is when people are dealing with something as frightening as cancer. They're taking information and advice and instruction from people who they are literally handing their lives over to and saying, I'm going to buy, I'm going to take what you're telling me, and I'm going to go with this because you're my doctor, or you're my oncologist, or you're part of that team. And I think that there's a disconnect oftentimes between people who provide support and ancillary type services to the oncology community versus people who provide direct medical care, when really we should be working together. So I think it's always helpful for people to know how to plan and prepare for that, right? If somebody's very interested in the products and services you provide, they need to have the right information when they go to see their medical team or doctor the next time. So there are no questions and everything can be answered and everyone's on the same page. So it was very helpful. Now, quick question. I can obviously see that you're sitting there surrounded by all kinds of herbal wonderfulness in those jars and containers. Just to be clear for our audience, you are actually the person who is making these concoctions and combinations of wonderful things, right? It's not like you are buying them and reselling them.
Correct. Absolutely. I do my own 100% formulation. Now, if I, for example, buy peppermint and you just want peppermint, then I will deliver that to you. However, my apothecary is 100% organic. And I really feel that that's important to, again, decrease the burden on the body. But I am the one that is mixing up the herbal teas, going along with what the person needs, researching that and being able to put that together, adjusting the formulations depending on what someone needs over time. And then I infuse the herbs, like I'll show you in a minute when we do the walkabout. I infuse them in alcohol, I infuse them in vinegar, I infuse them in oils so that they can be used internally or externally depending on the situation, because a lot of folks do alcohol extracts, but some people cannot have alcohol or choose to not have that. So that's kind of where that vinegar and those different preservation methods come in. I can also, if we're dealing with a child or we're dealing with somebody who's a little bit finicky with the medicine, you can mix some herbal powder with honey and make your own herbal pills. So many different ways. There's herbal baths that I love to do to calm the skin, to calm the nervous system. So there's so many different avenues. If you don't feel comfortable necessarily taking certain herbs internally, you can have external methods as well that can be absorbed and help too. But yes, I make everything myself. I tried to have an apprentice for a little while, and I just feel I need to touch all the medicine. I need to infuse it with my healing energy, and it just seems to work really well.
That's really amazing. And I think I recall you saying that you were going to take us on a little bit of a tour of your wonderful facility there. Are you still up for that today?
Yes, absolutely. Did you want me to hit the promotions that I have available for the viewers today?
Sure. If you're ready to do that, let's do it. Absolutely.
Yeah, because I think if I start getting into the plant stuff, my mind will kind of go somewhere else.
Absolutely.
So I do have a couple of offerings for the viewers today. So as you heard earlier, I do usually have a 20 to 30 minute initial health discovery session. However, today I'd like to offer the viewers to extend that from half an hour to an hour and a half one-on-one with me. Really, that first hour is going to be digging into where are you in your healing journey? What support do you need right now? And then that last half an hour will be diving a little bit deeper of how we could work together and what would that look like. So with that, when you sign up for that on my website, if you will do in all caps with no space in between, Cancer Power. Again, Cancer Power, all caps, no space, is going to be the gift code for you to be able to extend from half an hour to an hour and a half discovery session. And then that same code, I want to use an offering if you decide to upgrade to a initial consult package, which is on my website. I am going to take off 25%, which that is a $120 value. So I wanted to be able to offer that to the viewers, however long, it can be a couple of years out, but I want to be able to offer that to them. And they can find all of these details on my website. There's two ways to get there. You can get there by autumnschulze.com, which you can see kind of the spelling here on Zoom. But the other way is www.autumnsharvest.tv, because video is the way that I love to communicate with folks. And so henceforth, why I have the .tv, I have a number of educational videos on my website that continues to grow for everybody. But yes, I would love to take you guys on a tour. So just to kind of mention where we are and what I'm going to be showing you. So I live out on the shore of Lake Travis, and I use my garden space usually for demonstration. I grow a lot of herbs there for friends and family. And then
are we invited to come out and see your lovely facility? Sounds fantastic.
That in a moment. And then all these herbs that you see back here are good manufacturing practice herbs, which I can get certificates of analysis on. And those are the ones that I use in my public line. I'll show you around my herbal apothecary right here. And then I'll show you my botanical shop, which is open to the public by appointment only. And then every now and again, I'll have VIP clients come to do their sessions here. So we can do demonstrations, juicing and smoothies and salads and all kinds of
fun. That sounds fantastic.
Home herbal cuttings and all those kind of things. So now I'm going to get you guys off of the tripod, and I apologize if I make anybody nauseous moving around. But let me see here. Turn the camera around. Okay. So this is part of my dry herb storage. So these are 1 gallon jars, and everything on the top 4 shelves I have bought, and the bottom is my personal harvesting. And then I have some space over here where I have gloves, harvesting buckets, and grinders and tea tasting items. I have a lot of my preparation, a lot of cups. I can't tell you how many of these herbal or the canning funnels I use. They are a lifesaver. Here's a lot of herbs coming in to be processed within the apothecary. So for example, wild cherry is for cough, and echinacea is to improve the immune system. And then over here, here's where I was talking about all those lovely infusions. So I have some infused sunflower oil here with lavender, rose, and calendula. There are different skin oils. And then I also have internal ones that I use for things like sleep, anxiety, and just gentle symptoms. I'm getting a client's order ready together. Ready together here. And then I've got even more herbs over here. These are a little bit smaller shelves, but that's kind of the storage of the herbs themselves. And then let me take you on a little journey here. Here's my filming lights, all that good stuff. And then we're going to go, here's my loft, and I will show you, here's my public space for all of my herbal goodies. So for example, in here we have tea bags, we have different preparations. Here is my ashwagandha rose elixir, which is great for the adrenal glands, or if somebody is having grief, because rose is wonderful for the heart. And then we have some dream pillows and some lavender eye pillows just for fun. And then I have more teas, relaxation teas, some hormonal support for ladies. And then I have a Remember This cider for memory, to help boost blood flow to the brain.
I'm pretty sure I need all of those bottles. I have them all.
Of course, bug spray and a bug bite bath soak. Because when I was at my herbal school, I got bit by 100 chiggers when we had a fire circle. So that was fun. The herbal soaks worked really well. These are my salves that we had talked about. So you infuse the oil, and then you add beeswax and vitamin E, and it turns into a little bit of a harder, almost petroleum jelly type item. So now I will take you outside.
Can I ask you a quick question? Can you talk? So it came to mind when I was watching you show all of your products there a moment ago. I know you do a lot of custom things. What kind of time frame are we looking at if I ordered something custom from you? Is it a number of days or weeks or?
Right now it is a number of days.
Okay.
So it just takes me a couple of days to put those together. And if somebody's in the Austin area, they can come and do a driveway pickup, or I can ship it to them. I use USPS. If you're in the Austin area, it usually takes a day to ship it to you.
Okay.
So that at
Fantastic.
all.
Thanks.
All right, I am outside. So this one right here, this is lemon balm. So this one is one that's antiviral, and it has a wonderful lemony scent, and it's very calming, so I use it in the bath as well. And this is comfrey. So this is one that has the allantoin in it that helps cell proliferation and repair. So it can help you repair extremely fast, even known to knit all the way down to the bone. It's also called knit bone. We have some anise here. So I like to play around with different ways. I got these from McCoy's and just drilled some holes into the bottom of them. Here's a little bit of catnip. I had to put it in hanging baskets because the cats lay in it and kill it. So, and then although it's not an herb, I have to show you guys the hydrangea that I have here. So beautiful. But here I have
a little bit, so we didn't hear that last part.
hydrangea, and then here's motherwort.
Okay, great. Thank you.
So this one helps with female-related anxiety, heart palpitations.
Oh, that's interesting.
As well as Leonardus cardiaca. So it has a very high affinity for the heart.
So good for people that are dealing with anxiety.
Yes, absolutely. So tell me if I'm breaking up here, but I'm going to the side of the house now.
So far, so good. It looks lovely.
So here is my butterfly garden. Tons of pineapple sage here, which is wonderful to be able to, I use pineapple sage as a tea, but also put it with apple mint in fruit salad. And it just makes you look like a fancy, like you made a fancy potluck and it's just got some herbs in it. But here we get a little bit more into the medicinals. I have echinacea coming up, which the echinacea coneflower, I use the purpurea, which it is an immune stimulant. It has been shown by Lancet Infectious Diseases to slow the common cold by 1 to 3 days.
Now, are most of these plants pretty hardy and easy to grow, or are they particular?
Well, so for example, you can see my sad little ashwagandha here.
Oh, it's all by himself.
You grow it for the root. I had a big bucket here protecting it because the north wind comes from this way right off the lake. So they just get hit with this wind tunnel here. But so I do have to protect some of them. You know, rosemary, and it depends on the growing situation. Like these like to have it a little bit drier, you know, so I have basil, I have lavender and rosemary, don't like to have their feet wet a lot. And then this down here jumped the table last year.
Really?
So it's borage here, and I actually juice it. The flowers can be used, they're so pretty. They can be used in an arthritis oil to help with that. And here's more lemon balm that kind of jumped. But tons of lemon thyme, rosemary. Again, rosemary's drying, so I will use it in sinus steams. More lemon balm, comfrey. So you can see lemon balm and comfrey are some of my favorite.
Yes.
Lemon verbena starting to come back. A lot more lavenders. And then this one, I can try to head out there, but the Wi-Fi might break up a little bit. This is my bath bed. So I actually have a big lemon verbena. And then down at the bottom, I don't know if you can see them under that lemon verbena, not with my finger in the way, but I have some clary sage down there. And then I've got more comfrey, a huge rose and lemongrass, and then more lemon balm and actually calendula down there.
Ooh, now you're talking my language.
Let me see if I can get around over here and if the Wi-Fi will bear with us.
So I have a quick question for you. When you process all of these plants to whatever their final stage is going to be, what sort of shelf life do they have at that point?
Absolutely. So the dried herbs have 2 to 3 years before they really start losing efficacy.
Okay, that's a good amount of time.
Yes, and then if you preserve it, you know, I mean, a lot of people say like the regular shelf life is kind of 3 to 5 years. Huge lemon balm. But I mean, they found honey preserving things in tombs hundreds of years, ago. So it's like, legally 2-3 years, but it'll last our lifetime pretty much if we preserve it. And then this is
Interesting. Okay.
feverfew.
Say that
It,
again. I'm sorry.
it's feverfew.
Feverfew.
So it will break a fever.
Oh, that's amazing. Who knew?
Yeah. Lavender and bloom.
You are just
And
a
there's our,
wealth of wonderful knowledge, I have to say.
well, it's been so much fun.
It has been fantastic. And would you just run me through one more time? You actually do tours of your property. Is that what you said? Or you have classes on your property?
Yes, I'll have classes periodically throughout the year. And then I usually try to do an open house once a year. It's usually around Earth Day, but we had to cancel this year. So I would just have folks you can follow me on Facebook or Instagram, and there I will upload any online or in-person classes that I'll be having in the future as well, because I'm looking to build my online repertoire for food as medicine, herbal medicine, and people being able to do things at home and being empowered in that way.
All right, fantastic. I have one last question for you. How do you want people to think of you or remember you based on all of the things that you do? If they thought Autumn Schulze is a blank, what would you like that last word to be?
I would say food as medicine expert.
Perfect. Okay, that helps greatly. Are we leaving each other right now? Is that what's happening? I was just, if you, we can sign off here and say goodbye and thank you. It's been fantastic learning about you and getting all of your information and seeing your lovely place. And everybody has a way to get a hold of you, and that information will also be relayed again as these videos get uploaded and they go to their forever home. So people will know about you forever from this point. But thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Samantha. Many blessings.
Same to you. Bye-bye.
Bye.